Today, we're jumping into Steven Bartlett's amazing book, The Diary of a CEO, and we're zeroing in on what he calls the third pillar of success, your philosophy. And listen, this isn't some abstract academic idea. This is the invisible operating system that's running your entire life, whether you know it or not.
So let me just start by asking you this. What do you think is the invisible force that's really driving your success, or maybe your lack of it? Well, according to Bartlett, it all boils down to one powerful concept. And that force? It's your philosophy. Now hang on, don't let that word scare you off. We are not talking about ancient Greek texts here. For our purposes, it's much simpler. It's just the set of beliefs and principles that guide what you actually do every single day. It's the why behind your what.
Okay, let's really get into this core idea because it's a game changer. Think of your philosophy as the operating system on your computer or your phone. If you want to change the results you're getting in life, you can't just keep fiddling with the apps. You have to go deeper. You have to upgrade the entire operating system itself.
So how do you even begin to write the code for a better OS? Well, it starts with becoming completely obsessed with the tiny little things that most people just brush off as unimportant. It all starts with the power of small things.
Bartlett really hammers this home in what he calls Law 19. This quote says it all, doesn't it? True greatness, that amazing piece of work, it isn't born in one flash of inspiration. No, it's painstakingly built from hundreds, even thousands of tiny details that you chose to care about. If you can't sweat the small stuff, you just can't produce great work. Period.
And here's exactly why that obsession with detail is so critical. I want you to picture a ship leaving a port, headed for a destination thousands of miles away. If its course is off by just 1 single degree, well, right now, that seems like nothing, right? You'd barely even notice it. But over that long journey, that tiny 1-degree error starts to compound, and it compounds into a huge miss. This is Bartlett's Law 20 in action. You don't just miss your target by a little bit, you end up on a totally different continent. And this applies to everything in your life, your career, your health. The goal isn't to be perfect from day one, but to make those constant, tiny course corrections along the way.
But let's be real, even with the best navigation, you're going to hit storms. Your operating system is going to crash. It's going to have bugs. And that brings us to a huge part of your philosophy, how you handle hardship. A weak philosophy sees a problem and panics. A strong one sees it as just a necessary part of the debugging process.
Law 23 gives us this brilliant comparison. When things get tough, when reality hits you in the face, are you an ostrich? Do you bury your head in the sand and just hope the problem goes away? Or are you a lion? Do you confront that harsh truth head on and actually use it to make yourself stronger? This quote just perfectly captures that lion mindset. I mean, it is so tempting to just choose the easy path, isn't it? To stay comfortable. But Bartlett's point is that comfort and ease are your long-term enemies. They feel good now, but they kill your growth later. A powerful philosophy is built on knowing that real growth only, and I mean only, happens when you choose the challenge. And this leads to a really interesting, kind of counterintuitive idea about failure. According to Law 21, the person who wins isn't the one who never fails. In fact, it's often the person who fails the most. A strong philosophy actually encourages you to out-fail everyone else because it understands that every single failure is just data. It's a lesson you paid for on your way to success. Okay, so having a great philosophy is one thing. But how do you actually live it? Day in and day out when you don't feel like it? Well, this is where Bartlett gives us a super practical tool he calls the discipline equation. It's the engine that makes the whole thing run.
Here it is from Law 27. And trust me, this simple formula can change everything. See, discipline isn't about having more willpower. It's an equation. You take how much you value the goal, add how rewarding the actual process is, and then subtract how much of a pain it is to do. So if you want to be more disciplined, you don't just try harder. You have to play with the variables. You can either make the goal bigger, make the process more fun, or make the effort easier. Bartlett uses this quote from Warren Buffett, and man, does it hit home. You don't have to be the genius in the room. You don't have to be the most talented. In the long run, the person who wins is the one who is simply more disciplined, the one who shows up again and again. And that consistency, well, that's powered by a strong philosophy.
So, after going through all these ideas, the spotlight really turns back to you. We've talked about the components, now it's time to think about the actual code that's running your life.
So let's just quickly recap the pillars of a powerful philosophy. First, you have to sweat the small stuff, knowing that those tiny details are everything in the long run.
Second, you've got to learn to embrace hardship as a tool that sharpens you, not a punishment that breaks you. And third, you have to master that discipline equation, engineering your environment for consistency.
And we're going to end on this one thought. You can say you believe in anything you want. You can write it on your mirror, but your daily actions, they're the ultimate truth teller. They're the printout from your internal operating system. They show the world what you truly believe. So, the final question is, what do your actions say about you?